Welcome everyone to my show, The Path of Me. I'm your host, Wendy Hutchinson, and today we have an amazing guest. Her name is Jamie Sarbacker, and she just completed an amazing journey walking the Camino in Spain. So I'm so excited to talk to her about it. Welcome, Jamie.
Hi, Wendy.
Thanks so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
So I wanted to ask you what was kind of going on in your life prior to making this decision to sign up?
A lot was going on in my life. My husband retired at 56, and he decided to go on a 6-month hike. He decided to backpack from Mexico to Canada, 2,700 miles, and he left in March. And I made me examine my own life and what I wanted out of it. And the first thing I decided was I was unhappy in my job. So that needed to go for my husband to go on this epic adventure. I needed to quit my job and do something different. And then I also started thinking about what I could do for me. My husband was doing this great bucket list adventure, and what I could do in my own life that would feel authentic. And so I soul searched. I considered sightseeing. I considered studying yoga somewhere. And then I remembered the Camino from a movie I saw 7 years ago. And I thought, that's it. That's what I'm doing.
Great movie.
Yeah.
So when was this approximately? Like how far back did this
We left March 19th, and I probably decided the end of March. Well, no, I left at the end of April. Yeah, so the end of March. I gave myself about 4 weeks to get ready.
Wow. Was that enough time? That sounds like a pretty big to undertake with just in 4 weeks.
I though I don't walk, I walk my dog. I've always thought I was fit, so I thought that the physical part would be a challenge. And luckily on the Camino, you don't have to make hotel reservations in advance. So I thought I was prepared. The Camino was much harder physically than I thought it would be. So maybe I wasn't as prepared as I thought, but I thought I was prepared.
Well, I think people should know this about you. So Jamie was a personal trainer. She's a runner, an athlete. She was my spin instructor for, gosh, I don't know how many hours I spent on a spin bike with you, Jamie, but you were awesome. So this was not something I would think would be an issue for you. But so you packed everything up. You did some research.
Yeah, that was big. I'd never backpacked. I'd never carried a backpack. I'd never been anywhere alone. I've always gone on trips with my family or even some girlfriends. I'd never been gone from my house 2.5 weeks. So just taking that leap, getting a backpack, getting backpacking clothes. I'm not even a big hiker.
Wow. How did you know what to take? Did you do a lot of research online, or?
I went to REI about 50 times.
$1,000 later.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yep. I bought and returned. They have a great return policy. It's the way to go. But no, I had never done any of that before.
And what made you decide to do it alone? Because I know a lot of people do it with a friend or a partner. Or what kind of prompted you to take this journey? Go solo on this journey.
Right. With my husband being gone, I wanted to, it's a big thing. Doing the Pacific Crest Trail is a big thing. For me to go alone felt very brave. Yes. And I felt like if he's going to do this big thing, doing the Camino felt very big to me. I felt like doing it alone was brave and equally as great of an experience for me.
Yeah. So what were you feeling when you got on the plane, when you were actually on your way?
So nervous about all of it. everything, sleeping in new places, not speaking the language, being homesick. Being homesick was my biggest worry. I was going to be gone 6 weeks, and I was
6 weeks.
about
So,
missing my home, my family, my dog, just being in the U.S. Being homesick was my
so
biggest.
powerful.
Yeah.
So you get to Spain, and what did it feel like just to take the first steps and just to start your journey? And tell me kind of how it unfolded as you went.
So I landed in Barcelona, and I sightseed for a little while, and that was great. It felt like a normal vacation, in a foreign country, exciting, and you're seeing things. And before I left, I felt like the sightseeing would be the exciting part. But then as I started to make the journey to the start of the Camino, and it's quite a ways from Barcelona, that started in France. And I realized that the Camino was the thing, and sightseeing really was just an afterthought compared to what I was doing.
Right, right.
So nervous, apprehensive about walking across a foreign country with a backpack for 5 weeks.
So you met,
apprehensive.
I'm sure you meet people along the way.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was the unfolding like? Do you just kind of have a certain cadence and?
Oh my goodness, Wendy. I feel like everyone should go do a part of the Camino or something along those lines where you from all over the world who have a common goal, who want the best for one another. It really brings out the best in people, and you realize as you get to know people, we're all the same. We all want the best for each other. It's just such a powerful experience.
Did it feel like a big equalizer for humanity, where you just kind of use all the external trappings and you really see people for who they are?
Yes. Just amazing. Just really one of the absolute best things about the community.
What did that feel like for you too? Just being able to just get up every day and be your authentic self.
That is the best part for me. It was a huge growing opportunity. I had a lot of self-doubt. I think maybe just being a wife and a mom, years of accommodating everyone else, molding myself around everyone else. I lost layers of who I was and feeling confident in how I interact with people. And as I did the Camino, and I was just me, same clothes every single day, just me, I realized that I'm good. I'm fine the way I am. And I started noticing things about my personality I didn't quite know. I have a lightness about me I didn't know before.
So powerful.
Very powerful.
So powerful. Now, did that evolve over time, like every day after day as you walked? Did you get a little more confident?
Absolutely.
More outgoing, a little more true to who you are it's kind of like you expanded into who you were as you walked the path?
More confidence in who I was. Even though I think I'm pretty introverted, I'm outgoing, but I became more confident in who I was as I went along. As you interact, you feel your place. And I love you put on Facebook last week, your vibe attracts your tribe. And I felt like I'm feeling my vibe. I'm getting my vibe just in the world. And my authentic, my truest self vibe is this. And my friend group was not, who you would expect, a Brazilian, a Lithuanian, and a family from Mexico. You wouldn't, but we all had the same vibe. Fundamentally, we were all
you kind of just attract each other. I really believe that the energy you put out, there's like an echo and a response. So the people who come into your life really resonate with that frequency that you're at. I'm all about energy, right?
Right. I have to say it was huge for me because I realized my vibe is okay. It's better than okay. This is it for me. This is where
Pretty much awesome. I can attest to your vibe being awesome.
Thank you. Well, I didn't have confidence in that.
So that's awesome. So you got on the path. You explain to people kind of what's involved as you're walking
Right.
the day. So do you have a set amount of miles that you want to cover, or you just kind of winging it? Or, I'm just kind of trying to figure out how the unfolding of your day would go, like for meals and lodging and things like that.
Right. I am a serious planner. So many people who do it's 500 miles, many people who do it have everyday plan. They have a service, they plan every day for them. I really went into this not wanting to do that. I wanted to just leave the day and would walk till I was tired. And it didn't work out that way. It became too hard to get rooms. And so I found myself booking a day because it was just too hard to get a room somewhere. So
how far in advance would you have to book a room? Could you do it day by day or
day by day? Day by day. So before I left that day, I knew how far I was going to go. Typically, got up about 6 or 7 and got on the trail, and you'd walk 18 hours with stops along the way, lots of stopping, coffee and orange juice and visiting, a lot of visiting.
So it wasn't a forced march. It was like you could actually give yourself the grace of having a coffee and resting your feet, taking a pit stop if you wanted to. It wasn't like this, I have to finish in a certain amount of time, or you weren't pushing super hard. I know you had to get to the end within reason, but
yeah, that was the beauty of the Camino, is that there was just you didn't have anything to do when you got there. Typically the villages are tiny. There's a church, a couple cafes, a few places to stay. So there's nothing to do.
What did it feel like not having the distraction of everyday life?
The best thing about it is the best thing about the Camino is that you have a gift of not having anything to do, just being. It's like meditating for.
Yeah, I was curious, like what's going on in your mind as you're walking?
That's an interesting thing. They say here's what people say about the Camino. The first part is physically demanding. The second part is mental. It's in your head. And then the third part is spiritual. And I believe that as far as meditation and that goes as well. The first part, you're suffering, your feet hurt, your body aches. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I have 300 more miles to go, and then the last part, it sort of all comes together in that meditative state becomes your reality. That's just the way you are. You have no concept. You get up, you walk, and you don't think about it or.
Did you get to a point on the path where you were just in the zone?
Every day. Because
eventually you kind of just get into this rhythm, so you kind of know how it's going to unfold, and you just start walking and being in the zone every day. I mean, I'm just wondering how long the transition took from, dealing with the physicality of it and the mental aspect. Going, oh my God, I still have how many more days or how many more?
Right.
How long did it take you to transcend that and just be in the experience of walking this path?
I think I was always in the zone, but at the first 10 days, I'd be in the zone and then my feet hurt. Be in the zone and like, oh, my shoulders hurt, and then the second part is like, okay, this is terrible. It's a long time, but I'm in the zone. I'm still having a good time. So I think probably the last 10 days, I just, you just are. It's amazing.
You're in a space of being, maybe?
Yes. Yeah, there's no expectation. You realize you have all the things that you think about now, your physical presence, how you look, how you feel, your expectations for your comforts at home, or you don't need those things. All those things strip away.
You realize that all you need is you. You're complete.
Yes. It's better with people along the way here and there.
Right.
But then after that, that's all you need.
Yeah. Did you have any alone time, or were you with people every?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had lots of alone time. Definitely walking. But I mean, if you don't want to be alone, you could spend all day, every day, all evening with people. I prefer having some alone time.
I
So
saw pictures of you with dining with people and drinking delicious wine, and
it's the best
like just to
part.
be free, you're burning thousands of calories all day, so you can actually just be free about what you're consuming. I would think you're not adhering to any kind of strict diet, or I mean, you probably need calories to fuel yourself, right? So what was that like to just be?
Oh my goodness, Wendy. I mean, I'm a thin person. I've always watched what I eat. But I went into the Camino feeling very open about the whole thing, feeling like I'm just going to take it day by day. Whatever presents itself to me today is what's going to happen. If that means, having dinner at 10 o'clock and eating with a great group of people until midnight, then that's just what the day means. So I didn't hold myself to any restrictions like I do at home when I'm
I
working.
love that you fully embraced the whole experience. You didn't put any limitations whatsoever
I did not.
on yourself. And what a gift that must have been.
It was a huge gift, and it still is. And it makes me realize I don't need to have all that control to exist. I don't
That's
need.
so powerful.
It's powerful. It is, and it'd be okay if I didn't hold myself to all these standards that I only hold myself to.
So as you're going, I know there were some challenges.
Yeah.
Maybe you can just speak to that. Like, I know it's such a long journey, and you are going to be tested in ways that you don't expect.
Yes.
So maybe you can kind of share an experience that would speak to that and how you kind of overcame it.
Definitely.
Nobody except yourself to rely on.
Right. My getting to the start from Barcelona, I missed the train, and then I thought I'll stay. But they were having the World Cup soccer tournament, and there were no hotels rooms left. And I don't speak Spanish, so I spoke to the train customer service, and they weren't helpful. So I was frustrated. And about that moment, I thought, okay, instead of reacting, from now on, I'm going to rate my level of stress from 1 to 10. 1, a runny nose, 10, death. And then evaluate it. How stressful is this? Missing my train, not having a place to stay. It's stressful, but it's not life-threatening. It's a 5, let's say. But now what can I do about it? So that particular day, I ended up taking a couple trains to get to my stop. And when I was in the bus station waiting to take the bus to the start after I took my train, I charged my phone in the bathroom charger, and the adapter, the voltage is different in the US and Europe, and it blew up my charger. So I didn't have a phone, which is fine. It's okay, except that I didn't have directions. I didn't have a map to where I was going at the start.
Wow.
So I got to my destination. It was in the evening because I had missed the trains. And I was staying at a private home. So it wasn't a Motel 6 or whatever. It was at a home with an address, and I didn't have the address because I didn't have a phone or a way to find it. So I wandered around trying to find it, and it was a really stressful night. I ended up going to a movie theater and charged my phone enough to find out the address. Then I get there and I can't get in. They have a lockbox and I can't get in because I needed a code to get in the lockbox. So it's really stressful. So because I've been class, there's a woman who's my spiritual guru for cycling, and she has a saying, a mantra: I am, I can, I will, I do. And I am is your compass, where you're at today. Usually it's not positive. And then I can is something you could do about it. I will is this is something I will do, and I do this. It already happened. And I am stressed. I can try to be positive. I will problem solve as things come up. And
That's
I
amazing.
do finish the Camino, and it helped me the whole time. As anything came up, I used that mantra over and over and
Huge.
over.
So did you ever get into the place?
At about 11. Yeah, it was
How
just,
did you get the code?
I sat down and cried at that point outside my door, and the woman in the room next to me did not speak any English. I don't know where she was from. I'm guessing a Russian country of some kind. But through sign language, I was able to get her to call the number outside of the buildings area, and then someone came and opened my door for me.
So this is like day one. You haven't even gotten
I haven't even
the
started.
trail yet.
I haven't. No. And then the
Oh my
next
gosh.
day I got up, and the next day was the first day, and supposedly the hardest day of the Camino. It's 15 miles with 5,000 feet elevation gain. It's through the Pyrenees, very difficult. And when I got up, I didn't have a map. I didn't have my phone for directions. And I followed a group of people. This is right at the beginning of the day. And we ended up not taking the Camino, and we walked 5 miles out of our way. So before I'd even
Oh my gosh.
I'd walked 2 hours.
How did you realize, were you just wandering looking for the trailhead this whole time, or?
I was just following a group. They didn't know I was behind them. And so I thought, I'll just follow them. And then they turned around and said, we're not on it.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
but you know what? After the first day, those were really the rough days. And after that, and I just used my, again, 1 to 10, how stressful is this? That's stressful. It became really, it was good to have.
What a powerful tool. Like, who would have known that this mantra was going to carry you?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Everything. So powerful.
Very powerful. And it really did help. It did. And it was, I knew
perspective.
Yeah. And I knew I'm not a walker. I was walking across a foreign country. I don't speak Spanish, and I'm in rural Spain, not in a popular area of Spain. It's rural. Things were going to come up. I knew. So I just,
Right.
good to
But you don't know what.
Yes.
Those were pretty extreme, circumstances.
Yes.
So how long, so you finally found your way to the beginning,
Yes.
and it's marked. They're markers, right, or something? I looked on.
Yeah, they're marked with shells and arrows. Very cute.
Okay.
I started in France. It's all shells, because France is more conservative. But as you get into Spain, they're hand-painted arrows, and street art is big in Spain. So it was actually kind of fun to see different arrows, and people got creative with how they did their arrows, just spray paint. But it wasn't always well marked. I got lost many times. And you realize where you're vulnerable. For me, getting lost is something that I feel uncomfortable with. In general, physical challenges, I feel more comfortable with. But
So if you got lost, did you have your phone or any kind of compass to get back? Like, how did you find your way back?
You turned around. That's how you found it. You asked people, but again, I was in rural Spain. I didn't often see people. And English isn't as common as you would think it would be in rural Spain.
Jamie, you're so brave.
Thank you.
I mean, you always say I'm not that brave, but just hearing the story, this makes me realize how much courage it took for you to be in this foreign place, not speak the language.
Thank you.
We don't really have a GPS. We're so used to being able to plug in our destination to our GPS. You realize how dependent we are on that, right?
Right. And you realize, for me, it was powerful to see where I'm vulnerable. I am not vulnerable feeling alone, as far as I don't feel like bad guys are going to come and get me. And I felt like that was a gift, because I was alone a fair amount of time, particularly in the afternoons. I like to walk in the afternoon. And I realized if this was something that was scary to me, I would feel vulnerable. But I also felt like it's a gift to face the things, in a controlled environment that you are vulnerable with. So
Mhm. So how many days or weeks did it take you to complete the entire journey?
I did it in 30 days, which is fast. You know, I learned pretty early on that I really enjoy physical challenge. The first week was hard. I had blisters on almost all of my toes. I hurt, but my husband is on the Pacific Crest Trail, and he told me that one of the things he loved most about it was the physical challenge. So after I developed calluses and gotten over the pain, I decided I wanted to see what that was like. I wanted to know what that was like, was to really put in a physical challenge. So about the middle of the walk, I did 2 back-to-back 25-mile days. So I did 50 miles.
Oh my gosh.
But with that, I developed my friend group who were fit people. I realized that for the most part, that's who I enjoy spending my time out here with, are people who enjoy pushing themselves. So it took me 30 days, and that's fast. But also part of it is towards the end, I didn't want to leave my friend group. I wanted to at least be able to have dinner with them and go to their company.
So were they pushing that hard every day?
You know, it varied. I found for me, I didn't like taking rest days. I took one rest day at the beginning, and psychologically it just messed with me. And then also I didn't like the idea of not moving forward. So I tended to do, if I put in a long day and then a short day, or so I would get a whole 24 hours of rest. But I
So you had some balance in there. It wasn't just like hard driving.
Yes. And then the last week, I just enjoyed it. So I probably walked 15 to 17 miles a day the last weekend, took my time, stopped a lot. But in the middle, for one, there's that mental challenge. You're like, oh, when is this going to be over? And then also I thought, let's see how far I can go. But after the 50 miles, I did 6 miles the next day. So that I would
you gave yourself a little bit of a reprieve.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it didn't take
So
me.
I know at the end, you there's some symbolism. You place a stone or something.
Yeah.
What does that symbolize, and what did that mean for you? Like, what kind of feelings did you feel when you placed that stone of completion?
It's an interesting. Actually, all throughout the Camino, there are stones. So people are always putting down stones. You will see stacks of rocks everywhere.
That's cool.
It's very cool. And many people walk for loved ones who have died. So they carry their photos or pebbles. There is a big monument at the end, the highest part of the Camino, with a giant stack of rocks. And you lay down, supposedly you lay down the burden. So I didn't know what that was for me until I started walking. And I realized as I walked and became more comfortable in my own skin, I was laying down self-doubt. And little by little, I would actually put down stones as I went along, little by little, letting go of self-doubt more and more and more and more. So that's what I like about it.
Completely at the end, by the end, you can't help but be changed in some profound ways.
Yes, absolutely. I did not go into it wanting to be changed. Many people do. I went into it as strictly an adventure. Just it'd be a great way to travel and physical challenge and adventure. And I walked away with a couple of things. Definitely feeling less self-doubt, more true to who I am. And then I think I laid down at some point some shame about experiences I've had in my life. I think you're just walking along and you start identifying where you have shame, and I think I knew it and thought about it and where it came from and why I felt that way, and I laid it down. Overall, now that I'm home, things aren't perfect now that I'm home, but I feel lighter overall.
It's like you released a lot of things along the way, it sounds like. Emotional things, physical things, mental.
Absolutely. more than I ever thought possible. And on the Camino, we joked all the time about how is this life changing? I mean, and
As you're slugging along, right?
right. And we'd have lots of conversations about, I know one conversation we had particularly was when you're on the Camino, you're not what you are at home. You're not a wife, you're not a mom, you're not no one defines you by anything what you are. You're just you, and you get to be you for a long time.
Yeah, do you feel like that was the purest, most authentic you've been able to be?
I do. And there were times, many, many times on the Camino where I thought, this is the happiest I've ever been.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I wouldn't call myself a super happy person, so it was crazy. Yeah.
What's so powerful is you have this huge physical experience. Although I know you like to push yourself, Jamie, so that's no surprise. I think it wasn't just the physicality of it. It was kind of like you came into full alignment with your truth.
Yes.
You actually are. I think as a mom and a wife and an employee, a friend, we get our sense of authenticity and who we are gets lost.
Absolutely.
Because we tend to put ourselves last, or we're caring for others, so we allow their opinions to trump ours. I know I was definitely the master of being whoever the person in front of me needed me to be. So if I went to a family reunion, I put that happy smile, family reunion face on. Or if I went to a corporate event with my husband, then corporate wife, got my wine and making polite small chit chat, So I was a master of being a chameleon, but I was not the master of myself, and it took a long time for me to come back to my truth and authenticity. And it sounds like you just gifted yourself that.
I did, and I didn't know I would, and I didn't really see. I know it's crazy, but I didn't see a 500-mile walk as a huge challenge.
Okay, for you, maybe not, but.
I just really thought, this is kind of a fun little adventure I'm going to go on, but it was so much more than I ever could have imagined, really.
So after you completed the whole thing, what did you do? It must have felt different to not have those miles ahead of you. Did you just stay in the end city for a week, or did you travel a little? What did you do when you finished?
I stayed at the end for a couple of days and just visited with all the people who had finished, and that was wonderful. And then I traveled to Lisbon and I toured Lisbon, and that was nice too. But the contrast from being out in rural Spain and mountains, if people think of Spain as being hot, right? This is more like Colorado with snow, and it's very green. So to be in this big open space with trees and then go into a busy city like Lisbon was crazy. But I wanted I'd never been to Lisbon, and I wanted to make the most of it. So I did tours and stayed very busy until I got home.
Right.
It was when I got home that it was hard. I quit my job before I left, so I didn't have a whole lot to do when I got home, whereas every moment was filled on the Camino and then preparing for the Camino and preparing for my husband to go on his trip. And I think what happened when I got home is I was so used to being my best self, living the most authentically, that when I got home, it was like, well, what can I do that's going to be my best self? And that, it doesn't just, you don't snap your fingers, and that happens immediately when you had a life full of responsibilities.
Right. Do you
So
think
that,
it's changed your relationships? I know your relationship with yourself has changed because you're a different person from the experience. Have you maybe changed
yes.
perspective and how you relate to the people around you or your life in general?
Oh my gosh, Wendy. If I had to say one thing has changed since I've been home, that is it. My relationships. I used to take almost everything in my relationships outside of my kids, friendships or boss or whatever, workplace, personally. I used to take everything pretty personally. If something, if someone didn't want to go do something, it was a rejection towards me. And now after doing the Camino, I realize it's not my issue. If it's, for one, if I put myself out there and the person doesn't respond, that's the way it is,
It has
or
nothing to do with you.
it has nothing to do with me. And then also taking it a step further, there's nothing wrong with me. And I think I always took it as, and I'm not saying I'm not open to personal growth and I'm not humbled, but I used to take it so personally. Everything was a rejection, and it's just not necessary.
Isn't it freeing? Isn't it freeing to be able to release the story and
yes,
into your truth?
yes,
Do you?
yes. And that's also changed who I want to spend my time with. And, I used to feel like I needed to win everyone over, and my little introverted self, I still needed to do that. But I don't feel that way so much anymore.
I think the people that you're going to bring into your life now are going to really align with who you are right now. And sometimes some attrition as we evolve and we walk our path. I think there are people who just fall away organically for no real reason, but that creates space and room for people that resonate with us to come in.
Right.
But I think we always have this push-pull and this feeling like we need to just hold on to friendships, even though they're no longer serving us anymore, or we've just both changed so much and we've outgrown each other. I think even marriages and relationships, there are a lot of people who are just kind of hanging on to something that's really not serving either party anymore. Right. Sometimes you need to just allow the organic separation of things so that the right people can come in.
Right. Well, that has been the biggest change since I've been home. I just don't take things personally anymore.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Now, have you talked to your husband since you've been home, or?
My husband actually came home on Saturday.
He's back.
Well, just for a couple of weeks. He sadly, his family has had an unusual year. His uncle died of cancer a couple of months ago, and he came off the trail for the funeral. And then he just had an aunt die, who was on hospice, so it was a blessing. But she just died, and the funeral is this week. So he came home, and we don't get to talk much with him in remote areas. It's hard to communicate. He communicates with a device that isn't like a texting or a computer keyboard. You actually have to move a cursor. So just like maybe you're logging in on Netflix on your TV, you have to move the cursor to for each letter. So our conversations are very brief.
It must have been nice to see each other after so long.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think we had gone a couple of months without seeing each other, and now I realize with having him home how much I missed just being able to talk to my best friend, my person.
Yeah, I bet you had so much to share. You both have been on this epic.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, separately, but at the same time.
But we both, I mean, though I'm not backpacking in the woods and he's not in a foreign country drinking wine,
Right. Hey, that still counts. That still counts as an epic adventure, I think.
yeah, I can relate to walking all day, to suffering, to being in nature all day. We have very similar experiences, meeting people, so we can share. I mean, a lot of it is the same because it's much longer.
Right.
So, but
Right.
and he, yeah, he lived off candy bars, whereas I lived off tapas.
Now, have you kept in touch with the people that you formed this bond with?
Yeah, through Facebook. I'm Facebook friends with many of them, and then WhatsApp. I have a private WhatsApp group with some of the people I'm closer with. So yeah, and I feel connected to them.
Yeah, like a soul connection, I would think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I would go back. I would do it again.
Yeah, really?
Oh yeah, maybe not that particular one, but there's one in Japan.
In Japan?
Uh-huh. Yeah, there's one in Japan. Maybe I'll do that one. Who knows?
Wow, that would be so powerful.
Yeah.
You're going to start a trend.
I hope so. I hope everyone does it.
So what's next for you, Jamie? You've just done so much. You were a trainer, and then you became a paralegal, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You went back to school. Your kids went off to college. You got a job as a paralegal. You left a job. You walked. You've accomplished quite a bit. So what's next for you?
Next? I don't know. That's a good question, Wendy. I think part of the Camino, just walking and being more in touch with my authentic self. I realized that a paralegal, at least in the capacity of trial lawyer paralegal, is not the job for me. I manage documents. I don't think I'm maybe at my best self. I'm not a document manager. I think I'm more of an idea manager or a communicator in some way. But a document manager would not be utilizing my skill set in the best way possible. So I will. I do want to work. I'm not quite sure what.
Maybe on your terms.
Yeah, but I realized on doing the Camino, I always felt inadequate as a paralegal. But I realize now, again, getting rid of that self-doubt, it just wasn't where I shine. I was unhappy. I don't shine managing documents. Some people are great at organizing things. That is not my gift. So I would be better, the world would be better served, and I would be better served doing something that's more in line with who I am. If that's going back to fitness, I don't know.
I think that just allowing the process to unfold and approaching your future the same way you approach the trail is going to really attract exactly what you need to be and where you need to be in life, It's probably
right.
To just present organically, and when you're kind of in the space of allowing, that's when the magic happens. If we're always looking down and we have this very structured and rigid perspective of what things need to look like and how it needs to happen, sometimes we're eliminating possibility and opportunity and magic from coming in because we're so focused.
If that was an interesting thing about the Camino, is that Americans in general seem not to value experience like walking or taking a couple of weeks just to go walk, whereas it seems like Europeans are more open to that experience. Instead of I'm going to go see the Louvre in Paris, it was I'm going to go walk, and that's acceptable. But it seems like as Americans, we're very task oriented, and that need, even though financially, in reality, I don't really need a big house and a BMW and a great set of clothes from Anthropology.
Right.
But we prioritize those things. Like that is I need to have a job where I can earn to have maintain all of these things in my life. But in reality, I don't need those things. So what do I need to fill me up? And I think it's part of our culture that those are the things we need, and changing.
That's the most powerful message, right?
Right.
Like we have everything we need within us.
Yes.
Wherever we go, we're complete.
Yes. But it's hard because our culture is not set up that way. And so it's saying, okay, this is what I'm telling myself, but it's not true. And so what do I need? What feels right to me?
Also, I think we're so conditioned by that programming.
Yes.
We're children. We're programmed to accumulate things, achieve, hit markers, get educated. There's this whole checklist of things that we're supposed to do. And if you choose not to, you're really kind of judged for it, right? If you're not striving for the same things.
Right. And when you go to other parts of the world, particularly doing the Camino, you realize it's a culture. It's not that way everywhere you go.
That we actually have value just for being great human beings. And
exactly. And that perhaps time is a bigger gift than money. Yes. And you don't, I walked with a Lithuanian woman who was a physician in Sweden. She gets 3 months off a year. 3 months.
3 months?
3 months.
Did you say 3?
3 months.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yes. Whereas in the United States, you would never think of
it. You can barely get 3 weeks or 3 days.
Exactly. But that the value of time and experience is not the same, everywhere. And that's interesting. It's hard. It's hard.
And they're also probably more balanced. Their lives are more balanced. So they, as people, probably are more grounded and balanced because they have time to pursue things that interest them and that they're passionate about, and
right,
invite things into their lives besides just working themselves to the bone and taking home that paycheck.
Right. So I'm being open to what's next for me. I have a lot of transition. My husband retired. My kids are in college or done with college, and just a time of transition. I need to have thumb surgery, so just a time of transition in my life. Not rushing to see what's next.
I can't wait to see how your future unfolds after this whole experience, and we're just about out of time, so I just want to thank you so much, Jamie, for being a guest on my show. I'm so excited that you were able to share your experience, and I just think you're such a gift to everybody who has had the pleasure of working with you in their lives or being inspired by you as a trainer. Or I just think you're going to have the most amazing, future, and it's going to be in perfect alignment with whatever you choose it to be. Do you have any parting words of wisdom you want to share with the world before we?
No, Wendy, I'm sorry.
Really? No? Well, I think there's some good nuggets in there. So I just want to thank you for sharing this hour with me, and to everybody who's watching, I hope you'll like and share The Path of Me, and contact me if you have anybody interesting you think would be a great fit for the show. I'm always open. I'll put my contact information below, and I wish you all a beautiful day. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.